Hi, Pete Moore, Welded PCM Guns. Last week I was at West London Shooting Ground where Viking Arms, the new importer of Savage Arms, were showing off their latest guns. And I did a video, so have a look at it if you haven't, because it details the 5 items they're bringing in. The other 4 are centerfires, and though they were good, what impressed me was this little B series, bolt action series. The actual bolt action that Savage use hasn't really changed. This basic steel receiver, tubular, nothing special to look at, but it's solid, reliable, it works well. And to, should we say, sex it up a bit and also provide, in my opinion, more shootability, certainly if you're shooting HMR, which is potentially capable of sort of shooting headshots at 200 yards and rabbits and hares if you want to. So anything that aids shootability, in my opinion, is a great idea, and they really have. Most noticeable is the fact that they have a proof research 18-inch carbon fibre barrel. At the front, it's threaded half by 28 UNEF, which is the American thread. Half by 20 would have been better for the UK market, but no big deal. I just dug out my A-Tech 2 rimfire mod in the same thread, which is fine. And a lot of other companies are offering this American thread form for rimfire moderators. 18 inches seems to be good. Velocity I'm getting out of it with certain ammunition is very good. I always favour the 20, but I think this does what the 20 does with 2 inches less, which is fine by me. And next most noticeable is this MDT one-piece aluminium chassis system, which the action drops into. Looks good. It's got a massive free float. It's huge, which is great. It's M-lock. And if you look here, you've got a QD sling stud, so you can put Harris on there. Out of interest, I put a length of Picatinny rail on there, and I've got a Atlas lookalike type pod on there, which seems to be working well. Moving back, the butt section is quite vestigial. It's what I would call an axe head, because you've got a slim bar here that mounts it all, and at the rear is the actual butt piece, which is synthetic. So, comb, height adjustable comb, which is great. It just slides up and down. You lock off these 2 screws and it's there, which is great. The butt comes with a series of spacers on it. This rifle arrived with 2 spacers, which I think is a little bit short in the length of pull for me, though it was okay. You've got a gripping hook here. If you shoot like I do, sort of like this, it's good. Underneath there's 1 M-lock slot, so you could put a rear grip on it or a rear monopod. And the recoil pad's nice and thick. Not that you need it for recoil control, but as I found, the rubber will lock into your clothing and keep the rifle where it needs to be. So the bolt action is pretty simplistic. Lift up, pull back, blah blah blah. And it's got what I term as a champagne bottle handle. There's a lot to get hold of there, and it's really nice in operation. Being a Savage, it has a tang mounted safety, which is here. It just pushes forward and pulls back like that for fire and safe. The pistol grip is from MDT. It's rubber covered, it's comfortable, it's hand filling, but looking at the way it's fitted, I think any compatible AR-15 grip would do. The trigger guard here is all polymer. It's massive, which is great, and as usual, being a Savage, it has their AccuTrigger system, which is user adjustable down from 1.5 pounds up to 4 pounds. This is down at its minimum weight, and it's sweet and it's crisp. It has an inner trigger here that you press first, which unlocks the blade. It's quite common. Magazine is a 10-round rotary. I think the inspiration here has come from Ruger's rotary magazines, I feel, but it's got a nicer locking catch system. Just press this in and say, loading in this is a bit odd. First round goes in like so. There's the red rotor. Push it down, clips back. And what you've got to do, rather than pushing straight down like that, which it feels like it's locked up, you put the round to one side, you push it down and across. Obviously it does stack up a little bit towards the end because the spring is tensioning. That's the last one going in. As standard, the rifle comes with a Picatinny rail, which is brilliant. And for the test, Viking, who bring in Leopold, have fitted a VX5HD, which is a 30mm body with their zero stop type BDC turret. It's got parallax control, illumination, fast focus eyepiece, and the spec is 15:3 by 56. I picked 4 different rounds of ammunition for it. First and foremost, Remington's Premier Magnum rimfire. Viking bringing Remington. I tested this a few weeks ago. You may have seen the video. 17 grain is the standard. I then compared it to Hornaday 17 HMR 17 grain. They're both ballistic tips. They use the VMAX. It's very similar, but figures are slightly different, as they always are. And 2 slightly more unusual ones. First of all, we have the 15.5 grain non-lead from Winchester. And the other is the 20 grain jacketed hollow point. Again, this appeared not long after the standard 17 grain, way back when it was first introduced. Overall, this is a really nice little rifle. You know, it's almost got to the case. I like the fact that you've got the carbon barrel on it and the chassis system. And Savage also offer this gun with a carbon steel barrel, just a same weight, diameter, same everything. It's just in carbon steel, because obviously the carbon barrel is going to put the price up considerably compared to the standard steel. But it does save you about £1 in weight, which is, you might feel, is good. Okay, let's crack off some ammo. Mag goes in, clips in easy. See what I mean? The big bolt handle's great. Safety catch on, safety catch off. And we're ready to shoot. Empty, mag out. We like 17 HMR, we really do. Some quite interesting results. Starting with the Remington 17 Premier. Average speed was 2723, which is pretty hot, given in mind that the factory quote is 2550. But when I tested this ammunition in my Ruger 7717 about a month ago, it was doing pretty much those figures, which is good. I mean, I'd sooner have an HMR that shoots that quick compared to what it's recommended to do. Standard deviations are very impressive, 9.5 feet per second, which is good for a rimfire. Group size was 0.947. Energy at the muzzle was 280 foot-pounds, and it's what I consider the HMR's maximum range of 200 yards. It was 82 foot-pounds, so again, pretty good. Hornaday, the guys that started it all, their factory load is quoted again at 2550 like the Rem, and it was averaging 2626, which is again more than quoted. Energy at the muzzle was 261 foot-pounds, and at 200 yards it was 75 foot-pounds. As you can see, that extra few feet per second of the Remington makes a bit of a difference further down range. Standard deviation was quite high at 40.5, not terrible, but not too low. And then the group was 0.776. Probably the most disappointing was Winchester 20 grain jacketed hollow point. Average was 2,210 feet per second, and the factory quote is 2,375, so it's under by a considerable amount. Energy is 217 at the muzzle and 61 foot-pounds at 200 yards. Standard deviation was a whacking 102 feet per second, which is a lot. I mean, if you're pushing it out that far, then you've really got to think about, can you push it that far with that deviation? And the group was a very disappointing 1.609. Some guns like the 20, some guns don't. And finally, Winchester's 15.5 grain non-lead. It was averaging 2589, and the factory quote was 255 so not too bad really. Energy was 224 at the muzzle and 57 at 200. You've got to realise that the bullet is 1.5 grains lighter than the standard 17, so it's going to lose energy, but it's still quite respectable. Group was, oddly enough, best of all, 0.678. With a decent standard deviation, 17.6. One thing I did find with this is it's a brand new rifle, is that it's a bit like my 17 HMR. Initially, it was a bit cleaning sensitive, because when I was shooting it this morning, groups were a lot bigger than I thought. I thought that cannot be right, so I gave it a good scrub out and they came right down. So I'd imagine, just really spitballing here, that this rifle's going to need a good couple of 100 rounds with regular cleaning to get it running as it should do, and then you need to just keep an eye on it. But there it is really. Nice rifle, but overall not bad at all. Okay, so if you like that, as ever, tell your friends, support the channel, tell me, pmoore.shootingsports@gmail.com, and I'll see you again soon with some more stuff.